Hello, welcome to a new episode of Diplomas and Doubts. I'm Claire.
And I'm Beatrice. Today we had on my good friend from school, Blake Keller. He is currently I think right now he's just an anchor, but he started in Yuma, Arizona as a reporter at a news station. And we had a great conversation about his experience in news and about his college experience. And we had a great conversation with him.
I was really excited to talk to Blake and learn more about being a reporter and the different hours he's working. It was really interesting to learn that.
Oh yeah, his hours are crazy. I can't even imagine having to work his hours. But please enjoy this episode with Blake Keller. Hi Blake, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going? So glad to be here.
Thanks for coming with us.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. I'm actually real honored you guys asked.
Aw,
So
sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get started.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, Blake and I graduated from Loyola together.
Go Ramblers.
So talk to us. Yes, go Ramblers. Talk to us about what you studied, what were you involved in, internships, kind of just like a general synopsis of your college experience.
My college experience. Okay, yeah, so I went in to Loyola in 2013, just like really knowing what I wanted to do. And that was broadcast journalism. So I went in with that as my major, track. And then I just did a minor in management, the business school, just because of that leadership aspect. I've always felt myself as to be a strong leader. Basically, I was involved in a few different groups. I had a late start in my own opinion, but I could also just be really hard on myself. But I think I had a late start compared to like my peers in getting involved. And that was one of the main things that I think was my strongest in terms of character was in high school. I was always involved in, student government, student leadership, all these different things. And I didn't do that when I first got to college. I kind of just, I was brand new. I came to a school in a totally different state. I'm from Michigan where, I didn't know anybody and I didn't have any like high school friends go to Chicago for school. So I was like all by myself. So I started late. Basically, that's the whole point of that story. But anyway, once I did get involved, it was just reaffirming of what I wanted to do. So I had joined Rambler Sports Soccer, and I brought you in, Beatrice, I think, at least, right?
Yeah.
We'll say that, yeah. And, we just turned into this big, awesome group of people who were either passionate about sports or passionate about, production or, just the whole other side of it in terms of television. So that was what really kind of helped me get stronger in terms of, my shots, going out and recording and interviewing people, talking to people. And, so that really helped. And then, different classes had us behind the desk and doing different reports and all that stuff. And I just loved it. I just loved being creative with the video and my writing and being able to tell a story in that way in like a minute 30. So that was awesome. So I joined RSL, I think, my sophomore year, maybe mid-sophomore year. So that was fun. And then I had an internship with NBC5 in Chicago. I was the morning intern there. And I've always been proud of that just because I remember that was the first time they were having that position that year. They had gotten rid of it in years past, from what they told me. So my shift was like 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. every day,
That's
Monday
crazy.
through Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, and then this one worked a little bit better. It switched to 4 a.m. to about 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. or noon. So that one worked a little bit better. And that was what really was like, I thought I loved it before. After my internship, I was like, I loved it even more, And there's such a polished news station, and, it just made me see, like, this is amazing how everyone here is, like, hustling and getting stories, and it's just a whole huge aspect, and a lot of people don't ever see that side of it that we get to see, in terms of, behind the camera, and just seeing it all come together. It's awesome. And so that was kind of my experience. That, again, with my internship, I got at the end of my junior year, going into my senior year, and I felt like I had, begun late in the game of getting an internship. It was just over the summer internship, and I had to do it over the summer, else would have fallen behind. So I stayed in Chicago, took classes on top of it. So that was probably one of the most stressful summers I had. But it was because I felt late. All my other peers in the program, they were either on their second or third internship, and they were like getting it with, they were at NBC, then they were at ABC or WGN or like Chicago Tonight. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything. So I had to stay the summer just to make sure that I felt like I was on track. And then, graduated 2017, May, with a bachelor degree in broadcast journalism. And that's it. That's just a part of it, yeah.
What was your status at graduation? Had you already been searching for jobs? Did you already have a job lined up? Like, what were you looking at the day you graduated?
Yeah, so it's funny because I think Beatrice actually started looking for jobs before I did. And when did you start? Like March or April?
Yeah, I think mid-April.
Maybe even February?
No. I think
No.
April, like early April.
April? Okay, yeah. And so she kind of inspired me. So we would literally go to Starbucks and sit there for maybe a couple hours just knocking out applications. And
Wow.
I didn't want to, but she kind of motivated me to, because otherwise, again, I probably would have felt like late in the game. So I think by graduation, I had applied to maybe 50 or 60 different news stations.
Wow.
Because I want to be like, or I'm a reporter, so that's the job I was looking for, a reporter job. And I was taking, a lot of people want to be specific and stay, and like some wanted to stay in Chicago or like go back home, but sometimes with TV markets, you really have to work your way up. So you kind of have to start small. So I was looking at small markets, like all the way across the country, different parts that I would never even think of wanting to like live, just because I was just so nervous I wasn't going to get a job. And I wanted to make sure I covered all grounds so that at least I had an option, hopefully somewhere. So yeah, I started mid-April, and then by graduation, I had heard maybe from 5 of them, and they were all rejections. Just like, just being like, you're not the candidate we're looking for. And I kind of expected it, because then I was also applying to places that asked for like 1 or 2 years experience. And even though I thought I was, better than I thought, I was like, oh, maybe if, the timing is right, they'll want me and I can start off kind of high. But you also have to be open to that mindset where it's like, well, I have to start really small then too. So stressful month right there.
For sure. So after the job search, you eventually got a reporting job. Is that right? It was a reporting job in Yuma.
Yeah.
How was the transition from moving from the Midwest to the West Coast to Arizona?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I had, it was the fastest turnaround I've like ever experienced. So I went back home to Michigan with the mindset, with thinking I'm going to have the summer to like, maybe I went back to my old restaurant job, get some extra cash, start saving up for my student loans, to start repaying. And I think it was like 2 weeks later, I had gotten an email from the news director in Yuma, and he was like, how would you like to come out to the desert? And I was like, oh my gosh. And so my sister was actually like, you should wait it out and weigh your options. And a lot of people were telling me that, and I was like confused because, I got my, like, I obviously get it if you want to weigh your options, but that's my first job offer, like 2 weeks after graduation. Like, I can't believe that. So I took it because, like, you're never sure, like, if that opportunity is going to come around again. So I took it, and it took my dad and I 3 days, 11 hours each, to drive from Detroit, Michigan to Yuma, Arizona.
Wow.
And I hated it. I hated the driving. I was like falling asleep. It was terrible.
I
and
remember
it's like
you would
right
be
through
like
the middle.
driving in
What?
the middle of nowhere, and you would just call me, and you'd scream, "I'm bored!"
Yeah, because like even my music, like I can only take so much of it, and then I had my dog with me, and it was just a mess. So the drive was terrible. However, being on the West Coast is my first time ever. I think the furthest this way I've been was maybe Denver, and that was like a long time ago. So I had never been to the West Coast. I love it. I think it's awesome. In Yuma, it's kind of hotter than surrounding areas. So like, I know in San Diego, which is only like 2.5 hour drive away. So I literally have San Diego. I have Phoenix, which is like 3 hours from me. Las Vegas is like 5 hours. Like, I don't mind doing those drives because, like, those are way cool avenues of like nearby cities you can go visit. So like right now, today's high in San Diego, just to compare, is like 79. In Yuma, it's like 96. So
That's crazy.
It gets pretty hot. I think, I got here in June 2017, and I had to report out in 125-degree weather. And it was terrible. But I love it. The community is great. I love being here. It's very much a culture shock. But I think it also helps me expand and grow and learn. And that kind of adds to just who I am and my journey. So I love it here. I frequent San Diego and Phoenix often. So there's a lot to it out here. My next stop, I want to hit LA. So we'll see. I love it. I do miss home, especially like right now with winter. I was like, ugh, I don't care about, I'm not going to miss winter, but I do. It's just the feeling of especially with holidays, it's associated with like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I expect there to be snow and ice, but I get a 75-degree day, so it's different, but I love it. I think I think I transitioned pretty well, to be honest. I'm a little homesick, but it's not something haven't felt before,
Okay, so unlike you guys, I am not in this world of news. So can you lay this out for me? Like, what does your regular day look at a local news station? What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. Our hours are so strange. So I started off as a nightside reporter for the CBS affiliate, KSWT, and that was 3 days a week. So I did that Monday through Wednesday, and that was from 2 p.m. to like 11 p.m. Our last show's at 10 o'clock. So what we would do, I would come in at 2 with a story idea for my news director. And so that means like I have to browse the web, I have to see what's going on in like the state of Arizona, any legislation, city council meetings, any people who are reaching out, maybe something's going on. Like I've covered several like garden houses, so you just gotta keep looking out. And then sometimes we'll get like police activity or an armed robbery. So sometimes those are given to you, but otherwise you'll have to come up with a story idea somehow. And then so I would get in at 2, pitch my idea, either get approved or not. So usually we would settle on a story idea. Then I'd have to go make some calls, find like who I want to talk to, figure out what video shots I'm going to get, because we're a smaller market. So I do everything. So I have to, shoot my own shots. I have to get my own interviews. I have to find out all this information myself. I have to, do the research, write my script, edit it all together, write an anchor intro to toss to me, and I have to put it into our system, and I have to do that on deadline, which is usually like only 3 or 4 hours to get all of that done before our first show at 6. And then I would basically present what I had just done that whole day. And then I would do a shorter version in the 6, and then I'd make the full-length report for the 10. And then I do that 3 days a week, and then on the weekend, I am the weekend anchor for the CBS and the NBC affiliate. So that was also us doing our own stuff. So I'd come in, look for stories, write stories. I'm basically producing that whole show. And so whatever you see in terms of like transitions or videos and like those little like lower thirds that you'll see, like the person's name, I have to put all that in myself. I have to write different things, and then make sure it's timed out okay, and then go in at the desk and do that. So it's a lot of work. It's very rewarding though at times, especially when you do a story and somebody really says like, oh, that helped me, or so that's kind of what motivates me still. It's a lot of work, but that's what a typical day looks like. So it's literally nonstop from start to finish, and then that's it.
Cool. So you started as a reporter and a weekend anchor, but recently you got a promotion and now you're working morning side. So you have to get up super early again, just like your internship. How has that transition been, and how is this new position?
That's great. The transition's really, really awesome. I've always preferred a morning shift, just because I was used to it in college when I had my internships, but also just like I've always been a morning person. And then also with my dog, I feel better like knowing that I have like the rest of the day for her to not be sitting at home alone, all bored, It's really great though. So yeah, I had been promoted to KYMA, which is the NBC station, which is also like cream of the crop there in Yuma. And the weird thing about Yuma is that all the stations are under one management. So we're all under one building. So we have NBC, CBS, Telemundo, and Fox. And we also air on ABC. So we all kind of like share our content, and that's what's kind of weird about it, because usually you don't see that happen with news station. Usually it's a competitive station competing against another, but this one we're all under one. So I have moved to KYMA, but that is considered still like the number one spot to be. Like the news director thinks you're really good if you are on KYMA. That's just the mindset. Like that's what I learned when I first got there, and that's ingrained in me, so to speak. So yeah, I'm a co-anchor now on the morning show. We have a 6 and a 7 a.m. And so we kind of do the same thing. Like we'll come in at 2:30, 3 a.m. and start producing two 1-hour shows. So we have to get all this different content and stack it and put it in, and then we have to be on air. And it's been a lot of fun. I just survived my first week, so it's been really great. I love it. I love the schedule, and I love the position, and I still get a chance to report like 2 or 3 times a week. So, and that's what I really want to do. So I want to make sure that I'm good on my promise to report during the week to myself, promise to myself. So it's been really great.
Cool. Now you have the weekends off, which is
Yeah,
really
congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And weekends off. So I'm really excited about that because that's how, everyone that I'm friends with have the weekends off. And then before, I'd always have to miss out on different trips and stuff. So I'm glad that I get weekends off. Yeah.
Yay. So in news, for those of you that don't know, usually people that are on camera, they have contracts with the station, so they have to be there for a certain amount of time before they can, move on or whatnot. So after Yuma, what are like your goals or your dreams? Where do you want to go after Yuma?
Yeah. So I do have a 2-year contract. So I'm here till June 2019. So I can't, and I can't even believe I'm almost hitting my 1 year. It went by so fast. So, and it's crazy because I tried not to think about like, oh, what do I want to do next? Because I kind of want to just be here and get better and get, good at my craft and really just enhance my skills while I'm here and take it all in. But it's really hard because I've just always been a future forward thinker. Like, what am I going to do tomorrow and what am I going to do in 10 years? Like, that's just who I've always been. Even like since I was young, I can always remember just planning way ahead. And so I've thought about recently, like, so my ultimate goal right now that is, I would say achievable, is I want to go back to Detroit and report there. That is my absolute goal right now, at least within the next 5 years. I know beyond that, I want to also hit Chicago and or like network news, like a network news correspondent. So that could be way far down though. Like that's not even going to be near the future anytime soon. But definitely Detroit. But that is considered a large market, so that would be quite a jump. So I don't know if people are aware, but TV markets have these rankings in terms of size of like that's why they're considered like large, middle, or smaller markets, because it depends like what the reach is. So like the number one station, like the number one, not station, but like the number one city for TV markets is New York because it's huge, right? And it's like Los Angeles and Chicago. So Yuma is at like 167 and it's out of 210. And so that is considered really small. So like if I wanted to make a jump to Detroit, which is number 13, that would be a huge jump, and that's like rarely ever seen. But a lot of people have jumped from Yuma to Phoenix, and Phoenix is just like 14. It's like right under Detroit. So I think it's achievable. I'd have to work really hard and hustle for the rest of my time here just to make sure I'm like really polished. But if not, I've also considered like I want to hit West Palm Beach just because my mom's there, and also like I think it'd be awesome. That's in the 40s, So, but also with those in mind, I'm also going to be open-minded and consider other options if those aren't available at the time where I know that I'm ready to move on. So I guess it all depends. It's a lot of timing and chance, but then it's also a lot of, just who you are as like a reporter and a journalist. So we'll see. But I definitely want to hit Detroit next. That's the goal.
That's amazing. I've learned so much about news from you two. I don't even watch it, but I know so much from you guys now.
Well,
Listen, so one final question. This is how we end every podcast,
Okay.
Every episode. If you could go back to graduation, what advice would you give yourself on graduation day?
Oh my gosh. The first thing would definitely be to just relax. Because I feel like in the end, it always works out, no matter what. I wish I could have enjoyed maybe the last couple of months of college if I had just relaxed. And so, because like the last couple of months I was just so clogged, like my mind was clogged with job, 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 like graduate, job. You have to get one. And I think that's just also, it's good to think that way and like not be so aggressive about it though. So I think that you can still get that type of work done in terms of looking for a job, but also balancing it out and having that opportunity to just really soak it up the rest of your college time and really just enjoy it without being so stressed out. And so that's kind of what I would go back and be like, you can relax, like be confident enough to, know that you're going to land a job sooner or later and it's going to happen for you. You just have to like step back and relax. So that's sad. That's kind of morbid to look back on and like think that, because it's like me saying, I thought
it was nice.
No, I'm thinking in terms of like, well, I didn't enjoy the last couple of months of college because I was freaking out. Like, that's so sad to just hear me say now, almost a year later. But, I'm encouraging others to do that so they don't feel that same way where you look back and you're like, man, I wish I took that in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we can end it there. Thanks for joining us again. We had a great time.
Yeah. I know. I might have talked a lot, but
no, it was great.
I don't get to talk. That's
the whole point, Blake. You were supposed to come on here to talk.
Perfect.
Beatrice, I loved that conversation we just had with Blake. I think it was so great to have our first male guest on the episode. And I've also been thinking how, so far, all of our guests have been in a different state. We're really covering our ground.
We are. I hadn't realized that, but we really are. We're getting a little bit from everywhere. But I'm really happy for Blake. I could really tell, I've known him for 5 years. And I could really tell towards the end of our senior year that he was pretty stressed out about finding a job. But, he seems really happy and he's doing a really great job in Arizona, in the news and everything. And he seems really happy, so I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Blake. All right, everyone, it's that time of the episode. Today, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Claire's expiring auto insurance policy. Y'all, one of my goals for this podcast is to slowly reveal more and more about my financial anxiety. So you know what gives me financial anxiety? Liberty Mutual scamming me. Liberty Mutual has been robbing me blind for a year, y'all. And I sat there and let it happen because I don't know anything about car insurance. Now it's time to renew, and Liberty Mutual wants to scam me even more next year. Here's my advice. We don't have anyone listening who's under the age of 20, I'm sure. Here's my advice, y'all. If you're 16, just go get your license. Don't wait until you're old like me. Don't wait until you're 19. Just don't do it. So I'd like to say, Liberty Mutual, you can burn in hell. And also, Mom and Dad, thank you so much for buying me a car. I really love it. I'm so grateful. I'm really going to figure out this auto insurance policy issue. Y'all, I think I'm going to switch to Progressive. That's my big announcement for the episode. I'm leaving Liberty Mutual. I'm cutting all ties. And I'm switching to Progressive. Now, can someone help me do that logistically? That's my cry for help for this episode, Beatrice. I'm putting it into the universe. Universe, please answer. Help me with my car insurance. It's too big of an issue.
Wow. You went off on Liberty Mutual. You went off. Wow.
I just can't, you guys, I'm such a sweet girl, I'm here in North Portland. I'm driving this cute little silver Hyundai Accent with a hatchback. My dad picked it out for me. I got it for a graduation gift. I named him Buddy because he's my buddy. And Liberty Mutual is charging me so much. Y'all, I'm going to drop a number on you right now. Get ready for this number.
Oh,
Are you ready for the email I got from Liberty Mutual telling me that my premium for next year is $3,700?
I can't believe it.
Moment of silence for my bank account. I'm so sorry. Liberty Mutual, I know you're listening to this. And I said it before and I'll say it again. You can rot in hell. I don't know who you think I am. I don't know why you think I have that kind of money. I'm just a young girl who waited till she was an adult to get her license, okay? Give me a break. Anyways, Liberty Mutual's not giving me the break, so I'm crawling to Progressive, begging to be taken in.
Oh my gosh, I think this was the most passionate sponsor that we've ever had so far.
Honestly, I have so much more to say. I hope that our next sponsor is my new, reasonably priced auto insurance policy. That's my goal.
Fingers crossed. I think it'll all work out, but wow, Liberty Mutual did you dirty.
Liberty Mutual did me so dirty. Y'all, if you have Liberty Mutual, switch with me. Let's all go to Progressive. Liberty Mutual is terrible.
Just, adulting in general is terrible. And having to deal with car insurance, no one has time for that, honestly.
Why is Liberty Mutual trying to charge me an extra $300 over last year? Y'all, I barely drove this year. I drove 2,300 miles.
Also, if you don't know, people, Claire doesn't even drive to work anymore. She walks.
True, y'all. They want me to pay $3,700 to walk 6 minutes to work. I'm like, I don't want to do the math for how much I'm going to be paying insurance for every trip to the grocery store. It's too much, y'all. Wow. I forgot that I don't even drive to work.
Yep.
I've been losing my mind over this for days, you guys.
You just cross the street.
I just crossed the street. Liberty Mutual's trying to charge me to walk to work. I don't need walking to work insurance.
Well, on that note, thank you for listening to another episode of Diplomas and Doubts. We appreciate your time. We'll be back next week with another special guest. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.